Behind Brock Purdy's best game as the 49ers quarterback, the 49ers take this 48-27 in Indianapolis. They bury the Colts' hopes of playoff contention. They keep climbing in the NFC West and the NFC. They're 11-4, and the number one seed is very much in play. This is 49ers Postgame Live, brought to you by Toyota. Matt Mayoko, Rod Brooks, Carlos Ramirez. Brock Purdy was sensational, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, he had to keep pace with the Colts offense. Who knew that Philip Rivers was going to rekindle the Philip Rivers of 2008 and have the kind of game he had against the 49ers defense, which did not play well in the first half, but the special teams made a big play, and the 49ers offense took charge.
Yeah, this is who the Niners are. Just otherworldly offensively, troublesome at times defensively, but you get enough plays from the defense to keep it respectable, to get the ball back to the offense, and they're the tip of the spear. This is what we've seen for the majority of the season. We're going to continue to see it as this regular season closes out for however long the Niners are in the playoffs. But this is the formula, and it's all led by the offense.
What Brock Purdy did tonight, Matt, against a defense that limited the Seahawks a week ago in Seattle to 6 field goals was what?
It was impressive, no doubt about it. I mean, the Colts have a very good run defense. You knew that they'd be susceptible through the air, and the 49ers did a really good balance with McCaffrey really finding some holes to run. Hats off to the offensive line. They blocked well in the run game. They protected Purdy. Purdy spread the ball around, hit a lot of different receivers in the end zone. So, no, it was a very good effort by the entire defense.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the offensive line. To me, this is the best game that they've played all season, and I don't think it's an accident that we've seen the Niners' best running game this season, the best we've seen Christian McCaffrey on the ground. This is an offense that's in full. They can get it however they want, no matter the situation, and I think it's a bit of good news, although we're not doctors here, we don't know. To see George Kittle walk off the field with no assistance, I'll give that a big thumbs up for now.
And we give thumbs up also to Jennifer Lee Chan. We go out to her live from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Jennifer, welcome to the show. Your take on what was the second most points the 49ers have scored in the Kyle Shanahan era with 48 times what they did against the Saints back in 2019.
I mean, it seemed like the 49ers were just going to have to try and play catch-up because Philip Rivers was dicing it up in the first part of that game. But the 49ers defense settled down. Robert Saleh got them adjusted. And then it was just the 49ers and Brock Purdy lighting it up. He threw it to everybody. Everybody got a touchdown. I think it was like Oprah when he was dishing out touchdowns. But, I mean, Brock Purdy, what a game for him.
You mentioned Brock Purdy, Jen. You've seen every single snap of Brock Purdy's career. Is this the best game he's played so far?
It's hard to say. I mean, he did throw an interception. The ball was a little bit too high for Kendrick Bourne, but we did see him. He's just gotten so much better since his toe has gotten healthier. He's played more sound football. He's throwing away the ball. He still extends plays with his legs when he can, but he's really playing lights out football. Now, of course, this is a Colts team that has some injuries on the defense, especially in their secondary. So he did take advantage of that, but I mean, really solid game by Brock Purdy. Now they've got a couple tough games ahead.
And what about the defense, Jennifer? We thought the run game would be the issue against the Colts, not so much the passing game, but it was reversed.
Yeah, I mean, they really were able to limit Jonathan Taylor, and that's what their goal was, also to move the pocket around Philip Rivers. But the fact that Christian McCaffrey had about 6 yards per carry and Jonathan Taylor only had 3, it was like the roles were reversed. So they really did focus on stopping the run. They did a good job at that because it had been a challenge for him the last couple of games.
The great Jennifer Lee Chan live from Lucas Oil. Jennifer, thank you so much. Safe flight home. Back here in studio with Matt and Rod. The overreactions are brought to you by Toyota. Rod, you first. The 49ers can ride this offense to the Super Bowl. Is that an overreaction?
Yeah, they can ride this offense to the Super Bowl. The defense, I had questions going into this game. I come away with even more questions.
That missed field goal should be underlined because it was a 64-yard field goal attempt that hit the bar by Eddie Pinheiro. Matt, same question to you. Is this a Super Bowl caliber winning offense.
Oh, there's no question it is. Yeah, there's no question is if they can get the defense right. No, I mean, they were more explosive today than they've been in a long time. We talked in the pregame show about the kind of the grinded out offense that they had. Well, this was a big chunks of yards offense that the 49ers featured in this game.
Without Ricky Pearsall. Without the guy that's mainly responsible for them either beating man coverage and stretching the ball down the field. To do it without Ricky Pearsall, to get DeMarcus Robinson involved. Again, Juwan Jennings has had a whale of the second half of the season. Sky Moore. Everybody's happy except for Thomas Morstead, who's wondering, hey, man, when can I get some burn?
He's getting a paycheck without going to work. I don't think.
Jake Conges is going, Kyle, why didn't you challenge that?
Yeah,
that was
right?
a touchdown. I wanted to get involved in this, too. And I think the issue with the 49ers defense in this game, I think, was that they just overextended to stop the run to the point where they put a lot of pressure on their defensive backs to play man coverage and stick tight coverage. Sometimes their coverage was good, and the Colts receivers just beat them at the point of attack. Other times the coverage wasn't good. But, finally, later in the game, you saw, C.J. West late in the first half get his first career sack. Alfred Collins gets his first career sack, and the D Winters with the pick six. So at a point, it was almost like the 49ers defense kind of won the battle of attrition and kind of almost wore down the Colts offense.
To me, that C.J. West sack, that's the point where things change for the Niners defense, because from that point, and that forced the Colts to have to kick a field goal. From that point, the Niners were able to just get enough pressure on Phillip Rivers to move him off his axis, and that made life more difficult for Rivers, and that made things easier for the Niner coverage on the back end. And then I think Robert Saleh felt, there's going to be a time where I can throw a timely blitz in, and he did that with about 8 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And to me, that's when the dam broke and the Niners were able to get some semblance of consistent pressure of Phillip Rivers. But going forward, I don't feel real good about it.
All right, so this was a career game for Brock Purdy. Most touchdowns in a single game, most points in a game. That's the Field Vision brought to you by Zenni, the official eyewear of the San Francisco 49ers. The passing yards in the past two games, Matt, have been elite for Brock Purdy. Is this the best football you've seen out of him?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me if Mac Jones should be the starter.
No.
Okay, no, that was several weeks ago. Yeah. You know what? He was really good in 2023. I mean, this is a guy that finished fourth in the MVP voting in 2023, and he was a front runner. It was nip and tuck whether he was going to get it or Lamar Jackson until that Christmas night game. So this guy's played really good football, and I think he's playing recently here since the toe's been healed. He's playing at a 2023 level.
And you know what he's doing? He's dispelling the myth that he needs superstars around him. Now, obviously, he's a better quarterback. Who wouldn't be with Christian McCaffrey there? Obviously, having George Kittle makes him a better quarterback. But again, he's throwing passes to Sky Moore, to Robinson, to Tonjes, to Juwan Jennings, to Kendrick Bourne, right? I mean, again, this is a quarterback in full. Nothing is surprising him athletically. He is as fit as he can be at this point in the season. The arm strength, which was never an issue to me, clearly is not an issue for Brock Purdy. It wasn't that long ago that people were saying you should ride the hot hand.
And we saw the jump man again, which I love, by the way. The
now you like it.
I've always loved it.
No, you didn't in pregame.
Tonight was more almost like a kind of a lunge. It was a full-fledged jump.
Hook shot, Purdy, not a jump man, Purdy. All right. He was sensational. I want to bring this back to what we saw from that same Colts defense a week ago, limiting Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba and Charbonnet and all those dudes up in Seattle to 6 field goals.
Yeah, I mean, we can swing it both ways, though, right? I mean, the Seattle Seahawks defense shut down the Colts.
Yep.
And so it was just a different kind of game. I mean, it's very interesting that a week ago in Rivers' debut after nearly 5 years away, it was a defensive struggle. Right. This was an offensive shootout. So, the 49ers, I don't know what exactly the formula is going to be. They can't be scoring, 48 points. They can't expect to score 48 points every game once the postseason starts. But, the defense, that offense has got to bring that defense along a little bit. But, hey, at this point, there's no style points. They're 11-4. They move up to the number 5 seed in the NFC playoffs. And they, again, like the Seattle Seahawks, they control their own destiny for that number 1 spot.
It's real simple. I mean, all you got to do is just score half 100 every time you win
easy.
football games.
It's 50 burgers. Piece of cake. Let's compare quarterbacks here on 49ers Postgame Live. This is our QB comp. Mr. Irrelevant versus Mr. Grandpa. The attempts, and really similar, both attempts and completions. The passing yards, again, up there for both. The attempts, that's perhaps the most surprising number, Rod. Not for Brock, but for Philip Rivers.
No, for me, the most surprising number is that Philip Rivers had 8 yards per attempt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That's the most surprising stat.
It was only 4.4.
No, the 7.9 for Rivers. That's baffling.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was extraordinarily skeptical that this Philip Rivers thing would work anywhere near the way that it did. I was absolutely wrong. Tip of the hat to him. But let's give the Niners defense a little credit. If I'm going to criticize, let's give them some credit. So Philip Rivers had 277 yards total in this game. The vast majority of those yards came in the first quarter, 121 yards. Once the Niners got past the first quarter and they were able to get just a little bit of pressure, didn't want them to be the 85 Bears, but they couldn't be the bad news Bears.
Right.
Once they got a little bit of pressure, that made life harder for Philip Rivers and made the defensive backfield, made them look a lot better.
So, yeah, that's what we just saw today. When Philip Rivers was, coming into the league with the then San Diego Chargers, Brock Purdy was in elementary school.
Oh, I thought that was taken on Brock earlier today. No, you say
no. Have we seen the Colts are out, eliminated? Mm-hmm. Is there any sense in keeping Philip Rivers playing?
I mean, I wouldn't think so.
Even for him, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think so. I mean, they got Riley Leonard, a draft pick from Notre Dame. He was the mop-up quarterback in this game. So I don't know what their plan would be. I was, frankly surprised they would go that route even before, when they did. But, the thing about this game, too, is, both of these quarterbacks function at a higher level when the running game is going. Mm-hmm. And the interesting part of this game is that it was Brock Purdy's running game that really supported him. And for the Colts, Philip Rivers had to do a lot of it on his own because Jonathan Taylor wasn't as effective as you would expect going up against the 49ers defense.
And I think that goes back to what you were saying earlier, because the Niners were so hyper-focused on stopping Jonathan Taylor, which is a smart thing to do. That allowed Philip Rivers to get what he wanted in the pass game, combined with the Niners' lack of a pass rush. But it was weird to see Jonathan Taylor, have only 7 rushing attempts in the first half. So it worked for a little bit for the Colts.
All right, speaking of running backs, Christian McCaffrey, perhaps the most efficient game of the season for him on the ground. Take a look at this. Most receptions by 49er running backs in a season. He's now tied with Roger Craig back in 1985, 40 years ago. He will overtake him next game for sure against the Bears. So this is the true embodiment, Matt, of a dual threat weapon. Today, though, he did the damage on the ground more so than over the air.
Yeah, I mean, he also caught a pass or caught 2 touchdown passes, right? Yeah. I mean, he did it in both ways. And the yards down by the goal line were, his receiving yards were important. The running, though, between the 30s. I mean, he was a force, and he moved the pile. The 49ers offensive line moved the pile, and he was vintage Christian McCaffrey.
I'm so glad we're showing highlights here because, yes, give McCaffrey credit, but look at the blocking. Look at the offensive line getting to the second level. Yeah, look at the lanes. Look at the wide receivers doing their job, as you must as a wide receiver in Kyle Shanahan's offense. The offensive line was absolutely outstanding today against the Colts team that is good against the run.
And the thing about this nature of, the symbiotic nature of how Kyle Shanahan and Christian McCaffrey are so good for each other. Do you notice almost every time that Christian McCaffrey catches a pass out of the backfield, he's matched up on a linebacker.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's doing that choice move, a choice route where he just turns linebackers around. And that is by design. That's formation, that's motion, that's setting up those one-on-one possibilities.
Kyle Shanahan is the absolute best in the business at identifying linebackers that are weak in coverage and then putting them in conflict. And when you have a weapon like Christian McCaffrey, it makes linebackers just absolutely crazy. They have no shot. Also, waiting to hear what Coach Shanahan says about George Kittle. That's next here on 49ers Postgame Live. When we come back, the head coach of the the 11-4 San Francisco 49ers addresses the media. What's the state of George Kittle? Stay tuned.